Good evening, everyone. My name is Aparna Badlani. I'm a brand consultant currently working as the creative director with AZA. I welcome you all to the second episode of FDCI Insights 3.0. Today we have with us a stellar panel. Please join me in welcoming Anjana Bhargav, Anju Modi, Rina Dhaka, Gaurav Gupta, and Rahul Khanna. We're here to discuss a very relevant topic today. My first question is to you, Anju. Big conglomerates have invested in many thriving businesses. Do you think this is a survival strategy or a strategic move by designers to brave the pandemic storm?
When I will talk about 20 years back, when I was doing everything running around for the production, marketing and designing, at that time I was speaking to various people that we should have some, corporate world coming in and taking the business of designers to another level. And maybe the designers were also in their very nascent stage and the business world was not looking at us very seriously. But now that pandemic has happened, so because of that reason, everybody has got kind of matured enough. So I would say this was kind of a move which was anyway going to happen, but because of pandemic it happened little earlier, because I feel the corporate world saw that this is the opportunity to get the designers at a lesser price maybe, and the designers also felt that the scalability is possible only when the corporate world comes in. So I feel all these three factors are playing a role in this particular situation, and I'm very glad that after all it has happened. I used to dream that, okay, one day we can also have fashion houses like, other global fashion houses. So now it's happening and I'm very, very happy about it.
I feel like it's about time and our industry is completely ready for it, as a matter of fact. Gaurav, do you think that alliances like these, would you say, are a great way to strengthen online business channels and visibility, as well as set up better distribution networks?
Hi, Aparna. Thank you for having me here. I think it is, coming back to your earlier discussion itself, I think it was long waiting to happen. It was an impending thing to happen in Indian fashion industry. The industry is about 25, 30 years old, which is quite a young industry compared to a lot of international fashion industries. And we've had corporates look into the industry about 10 years back, 15 years back as well. For example, Raymond's and things like that as well. And I think you have to wait and watch as how the scape and the scale would change over the next couple of years, 5 years, 10 years. Over the next decade, the scape and scale will change completely, because I think with these large conglomerates coming in, there'll be like a retail structure, which has been an infrastructure which has been lacking in the country for many years. For example, China would have literally 200 Louis Vuitton stores, and India can only take 2 Louis Vuitton stores. Now with Indian brands having that kind of reach and having a lot of big marketing power, and a lot of us are household names, but it has never been milked and it's not been exploited enough within our country itself. So I think what is going to happen, and obviously interestingly enough, brands which are combining and joining hands with these large corporates are going to open up many more brick and mortar stores. But online business is obviously going to grow majorly as well. But what is going to be interesting to wait and watch is what directions do the brands go in? Will there be more accessories? Will there be a lot of ready to wear? Will there be watered down versions? Will there be a lot more product categories will come along?
I think it is a very interesting point, Gaurav. I think time will tell. And I do think that there is, scope for every category, as a matter of fact, So yeah, absolutely. Quite looking forward to what the future has in store.
Yeah, it'll definitely open up fashion as an industry, and it'll help in the growth of the industry altogether, which is already happening. Yeah.
Absolutely. Rina, do you believe the recent spate of acquisitions have seen a fresh impetus of money get infused into the market, which will in turn help designers scale up and go global?
There are many thoughts on this. Of course, each from Anjuji to Gaurav, they have explained very much the need of the hour, which is for any designer or any brand to be able to go on into the future from a 1 store to 200 stores, like an example of Louis Vuitton was given. One would need partnerships and funding and investment from the corporates, from their world, because they know how to distribute best in our country. The only thing is that I feel that with legacy brands, they have a recall value. It would be easier if I was a corporate to put an investment in and to take their product all across the country. The other thing which I think because we're like a young industry, what has come through is clearly the distinctive factors which distinguish each one of us, even right here in the panel. There's so many of us, each one of us has our own unique style, which means we have markets which could be different from each other. We don't need to be always carrying the same markets. I also feel somehow, there is a downside to it, because as of now, with the recession, with so much of product and produce in the world and in the markets, with almost 3 years of a lockdown or pandemic kind of a situation, there will be a slowdown in the fashion buying or the change in fashion's pattern of buying. I've also seen, even with our international buyers, the bulk buying has been reduced because the demand shrank. And as of now, I think, and investors, of course, got that early bird advantage, as we say. So they are going ahead and investing with the Indian brands. But how would one create a new age India with Indian designers getting connected to the small India, or they having their produce abroad, is still to be said. In addition, I feel there is a lot of young talent. People are very interested in them. They have fantastic ideas and they can be a big market players in the future. This was the big dream of India, of Indian fashion designers, to be like their Western counterparts, where a Bernard Arnault or someone on their kind of a vision or thought process would come in and help change the face of fashion industry and its distribution across the countries.
Very, very interesting thought, Rina. I mean, I agree with you completely. And like I even said to Gaurav, time will tell. All these recent acquisitions and investments have just about happened. So it's really, within another year or so, we'll really be able to tell what direction they're all taking. Rahul, my next question is to you. The luxury market in India is pegged at $8 billion. And most shopping in India is driven by weddings, and many consumers believe we suffer from symptoms of sameness. Do you think that these investments will be a springboard where fresh ideas can be nurtured?
Well, of course, it's a dream for every designer to a collaboration. I think the synergies between the designer and the corporates will set a blueprint for all the other designers to, set up something like that. Once we have the corporate backings, we will be open to new ideas. We have the funding. We are going to be thinking ahead of time. We are going to be making multiple collections at the same time. And I think that's where our mood board, our design, we will be experimenting more and just not only sticking to the bridal couture, which is very, very, which is the money spinner for an Indian designer right now. Yes, it opens up a huge Pandora's box to do new styles, new accessories, as Gaurav was saying, which we need. And as a designer, we do not have the kind of funds to open up and be there as physically present for different stores. And why are we thinking going global when India is such a huge market? Designers, India's a huge platform to open stores in every city. Going to the designers, being accessible, I think is going to be the new mantra. And of course, the online business is obviously scaling up 4 times right now.
Completely agree, Rahul, and also the fact that we all agree that this will also allow us to kind of shape up and strengthen different categories in the entire designer wear offering, which we might not be able to focus on at this point in time as individuals. I just feel that when somebody else is looking at
because you're playing very safe right now.
Yes, absolutely. Agreed completely on that. Anjana, would love to hear your thoughts on our wedding industry, which is set to touch $500 billion next 10 years, what are the key areas a designer can work in to assist corporates and ride the wave? Do you think that menswear has a larger scope now that the women's wear market is saturated?
A designer's core competency is the ability to design, and that is why an investor invests in a particular brand because of its design sensibilities. So authentic and dedicated design is undoubtedly the most important element in a strategic alliance. Corporates will bring to the table their expertise in marketing and management to harness the growth of this promising sector, which is our couture and wedding industry, which in India is huge because every individual saves for their child's wedding, regardless of any economic strata. And that is what we are going to be targeting. And the growth is going to be phenomenal if it is handled correctly. So what the corporates are going to look towards designers is the ability to design across borders. The challenges are going to be, the discipline is going to be tighter. We will have to start designing in given boundaries. And yes, 2-tier cities and 3-tier cities are going to be looking up and looking forward to the availability of design and accessibility to designers, and the reach is going to widen. So the responsibility for a designer is to deliver relevant, authentic designs which are also eco-friendly and they live up to the biodegradable standard, to look after the planet. All these things that we are talking about become one huge capsule, which the corporate is going to rely on the designer. So I think that is the most important ingredient that designers are going to bring to the table, is the authenticity and the diversity of design. Secondly, I feel the women's market is definitely not saturated. I think with the economy opening up and women coming from all tiers and online and offline strategies combining, there's going to be a boom in every market. And having said that, I do not want to dilute the potential of menswear, because men are becoming increasingly conscious of being well-groomed. Coordinated outfits of brides and grooms is already in trend. But now what we are beginning to see is the complete family is outfitted. Everybody dresses alike. The friends and choreographed numbers, going for a sangeet. So the entire mindset is now evolving towards being able to dress well and being able to participate. So that opens up a whole wider segment. And I also feel that there will be secondary verticals that will keep opening up, such as accessory designs, scarves, both for men and women, collar designs, so much juttis, shoes, so much will start opening up. But that, yes, the revenue generation is definitely going to increase. And I feel the luxury market, even the contemporary luxury market for men, the cuts, the silhouettes, the softness of the fabric and feel are all here to stay. And we are definitely going to see a boom and a bloom in both the men and the women wear segment.
That is so true, Anjana. I also think that, a lot for all of us who have stores and, we have them in our metro cities, the 2-tier and 3-tier city customers are the ones that shop a lot more than the metro city customers. So just these investments also help open up the market so much so that
they don't have easy availability. They're waiting. Absolutely. They're looking for an opportunity to be able to go to a designer, even physically visit them, get their ideas. How should I dress? It's exciting for them. For most people.
Absolutely. Agree completely. My final question is to all our panelists, and I would love everybody's thoughts on this. Would you say when you sell your stake, get investment, you in some way also lose your creative freedom? And many associations fall flat with the designers leaving after this agreement. Is this also because marketability becomes almost imperative?
Well, I think there has to be synergy between the design team and the management professionals, because I think if it's not there, nothing can last forever. And I think the management brings in all the infrastructure, the knowledge, but if they leave the design aspect, the DNA of the designer needs to stay. And the designer, sometimes it doesn't need to get carried away with the market influence and everything. And I think there should be set boundaries. And I think if there are boundaries, there is a success story going to happen for sure.
Gaurav, what would be your thoughts?
I completely agree. It's literally like a marriage. It's a marriage which is a very important marriage because the end result is growth. The first thing is business, but this is a creative business. So creative business has egos, which all of us do, but with creativity, our identity is out there as well. So I think what is really important, as what Rahul said, I think the business corporates need to align the vision for the brand, draw up larger visions, and be willing to take risks. Like today we see an example of, for example, Gucci or world leaders who have taken risks and made newer cultures. And I think if it becomes too corporatized, it can become a bit too commercial. And if it becomes too design, then it can become too conceptual. So the balance in the equation is very, very important. Only then new cultures and bigger revenue generation would happen.
Super. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anju, what would you have to add?
Well, I agree with Rahul and Gaurav both. And it is a nice way of saying it's a kind of a great marriage. Well, of course, the vision has to match the investors and the designers, and growth is also part of the reason for this collaboration. So I feel that growth can be either scalability wise, horizontally, like you can increase your turnovers and everything. On the other hand, I believe in the growth of vertical growth, whereas you kind of carry on doing better creative work, what you wanted to do in all of your life, that, oh my God, I would love to design something where the cost is not a factor and you can do what you feel like creating, like a real museum pieces. So I feel again the balance is required. One cannot just carry on doing these kind of dream projects. I feel this collaboration where the designer's vision and the corporate vision, if they match and they give the creative liberty to the designer, then it's the real good situation. And I hope this is the situation which is going to happen. That's my, you can say, the dream point. So that one should be able to design exactly, whether it's for movies or for some celebrity, but at the same time carrying on doing the cost factor, keeping in mind.
Thank you. Anjana, what would you like to add?
I feel I agree with this marriage bit completely, because that's the risk you take when you enter a marriage, is you have to adapt and change and come together and assimilate. And I feel that if there is synergy in the investor and the designer, I see a win-win for all, because the market will expand and a creative process is like an elastic. If you are given like 10 things, you will involve 100 out of them, and I am certain that something out of that 100 would fit into what the vision is. So I don't see a problem here. Yes, it's slightly restrictive because we are used to creating the way we want to, but eventually when you come together, it's all one large like cinematography. It all sort of fits into together, and it does widen the reach, and therefore it does benefit all. And I hope that it will be a win-win situation. I really seriously hope so.
Thank you. Rina, lastly coming to you and your thoughts.
So, of course, what had to be said or thought of has been well explained by everyone before. So for a person like me, yes, it has to be, the only way I can do it is corporate way, because I'm too patterned in a system which is sort of not giving me the time nor the leeway, like Anju ji said. You can create them. I have so many ideas. I can take them on, more than one. It doesn't have to be fashion. It can be related to, each one of us. You've seen we have verticals like Rahul, Rohit, they have art. Gaurav makes so many other interesting things. Each one of us has our own skills as artists. It's not limited to only one. And perhaps, who knows, in a wish world, maybe it will come true and we can do all those things. So I don't know. I'm an if right now, but yes, it is the way forward, because it looks easy, but it's still a tightrope walk.
Let's just say that it's safe to conclude that this is a big stepping stone. It's a great step for the future, and yes, it's a marriage. And let's hope that, like in all marriages, there are some compromises and some give and take, and there is a wonderful balance that is struck, as a matter of fact. I just want to thank you all for being a part of this discussion, and stay tuned to FDCI Official for more topics on FDCI Insights. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye,
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.